am.
Yeah. There was
I
someone
have
back who had the original like 10-year-olds. Oh, which fighter
the
plane was
shuttle
it?
Tidarium from Star
There we
Wars,
go.
the Imperial shuttle.
Right, well, I haven't got that one.
Yeah,
But
I see. I have that R2D2 behind you. I've got a very similar trophy case in my office at home.
so cool.
All right, well, good evening. Well, I'm Stefan from Xbox Gaming.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Jeremy Bernstein from Volition. I'm the lead writer for missions for Saints Row.
And I'm Danielle Benthien, and I am a UI artist at Volition.
Right, so, well, there's been quite some time between Saints Row 4 and the reboot announcement. So how long has Saints Row actually been in development?
Oh goodness, it was in development when I started.
It was in development when I started too.
Like a couple years
Um,
ago.
Yeah, it's been a lengthy development process.
Mhm.
I think it's been in development since Agents of Mayhem, as far as I'm aware. Um,
So that's quite some time indeed. But
Yeah.
it is, yeah.
We've been
I think
trying
that
to. We want to take our time to make sure that the reboot is done with as much care as possible.
I can understand that, and well, judging by the gameplay video, I think you actually succeeded in that. Because I
Thank you.
think Santo Ileso is actually quite a nice place to see.
Oh yes,
Um,
yes, thank you.
well, usually Saints Row took place in just a big city, so you had nothing around it. What inspired you to create a landscape such as Santo Ileso?
I I I don't know. I wasn't here when the decisions were made. I've talked to some people though, who have brought it up, and I think that part of it was very much to stand out, to be very different from
Yeah.
what had come before. I remember when I came in to interview and they showed me the trailer for the game. I had no idea what the game was going to be. It had only barely been announced that there was a new Saints Row game in development, and they showed me the trailer and the concept art, and it the highest compliment that I think that you can pay to a reboot is to say, "Oh wow, it feels the same but different." And that was it. I watched this trailer, and visually, the color palette, the environment, all of that was so different from what I'd seen before, and the content was so Saints Row that I think that was really a lot of the impetus, was to make it unmistakably this is not the same Saints Row, but it is the same Saints Row.
Yeah. With the Southwest, there's really not any place quite like it. There's so much cool art. There's so much cool life. All of the places that the environment team and the art team went to look at to see, New Mexico, different state parks, different cities all across the Southwest area of the United States. There was just so much to offer there, and so much life and character in all of them. And I think Santo Ileso is, it brings out the best of all of those places.
Right. Well, I really think it's beautiful, even that we can actually go into a desert, really explore something instead of just moving through a city. Um, well, when I looked at it at the video, it seemed like quite a big city. Well, quite a big map. How could we how could we compare Santo Ileso to Stillwater and Steelport in terms of size?
Oh my
Bigger,
gosh. Yeah.
much, way
Yeah.
bigger.
The long and the short of it is, I mean,
Yeah.
Steelport, Stillwater, they're such iconic places because, the Saints were born and created there. But I don't think they ever had as much weight or personality as Santo Ileso. I think, Jeremy, you had said it in the roundtable interview. Santo Ileso really is your fifth friend. It is a whole character in and of itself, with how much is in it, and all of the different districts and areas that are in the city.
Okay, and well, talking about districts, well, the game has got 9 districts, right? Is it safe to say that every district has got its own sort of biome?
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every district's unique. Every district has its own flavor. Every district has its own purpose in the city. The amount of background work that has gone into this. The lead writer on the game has a history document of this city that goes back to like the 1500s.
Yeah.
And the
Wow.
first, like, so like someone will say like, hey, what's the name of this what do we name this dam, right? And he'll
Here's a
say like, well,
founder. Yeah.
right, yeah, we should name it for Jebediah Meeker, who was the trapper who in the 1800s discovered, and he's just like got 500 years of history for this made up city, and it's
The lore
every
is
time
amazing.
And
you ask why is this here, he's got an answer, and sometimes it goes back 200 years on this timeline. And it's I'm like, every time I look at it, I'm like, a lot of games just like copy and paste a city map from a real city and then change the street names and call it good. Like, you've got 500 years of history for this place. So every district, he will tell you the name of the person who first broke ground on that part of the city. And it's amazing. It's just stunning to me how much detail, both on the narrative side and on the art side.
You can tell how much love was in development for this place.
it sounds quite amazing that they've actually really made up all that history for just, well, a game actually.
Yeah,
So
and not even all of it is player facing.
Yeah.
There's stuff in there you will never find in game because we just didn't
Okay.
put it in. We had too much stuff.
So what would your
It's great.
favorite district be there?
Oh gosh. Okay. I think I think it's Old Town for me. Old Town was the place that I spent a lot of time in. When I first started at Volition, I was in the QA side of things on the art team. And so I spent a lot of time just walking up and down the streets of Old Town and seeing the like old historical buildings and the age of the area. Like, it's weird to say, I guess, like in a game, you walk around someone, you're like, you can tell it's been there for a while. That's Old Town. It feels very much kind of like Champagne in some ways where we're based. And so that's kind of why I think it's one of my favorites, because it kind of reminds me of home.
To be honest, I like I've forgotten the technical name. I like the Beauty Desert. Is that Rojas?
Oh,
Or is that
yeah.
it's got an in-game name. I don't remember, but we do have two very different desert
I think
biomes,
it's
one
the
on either side of the
Rojas.
city. I think it's
I
the
think you're
Rojas.
right. Yeah.
And one of them is a much more dry, arid desert, and one of them is a much more lush living desert. And it's just, when you get out there and you have these rich red, soils and these green cacti and other, desert flora. It's just, and the mesas, and it's just gorgeous, utterly gorgeous. And then there's tons of open world activity hidden out there too.
Actually, already looking forward to exploring Santo Ileso now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said the world is actually really alive, and during the gameplay video and in the Q&A, you were talking about a band playing while someone was getting a ticket for speeding, for example. How challenging was it actually to create such a big world, which actually feels like it is alive?
It was not easy. It was, I mean, there's a lot of challenges in a thing like that, and we designed a lot of systems and leveraged a lot of systems to sort of keep that open world ambient spawning alive. This idea of these vignettes of let's just have these little scenelets that are happening, and how you stumble across them will influence how you view them. We had a whole open world team working on all those kinds of issues on how do we keep the city feeling alive. So there was a lot of work that went into it.
I can imagine that, yeah. So, well, an entirely different thing actually. In the video, I saw ejector seats, wingsuits, and everything. What else can we expect?
For vehicle customization, there is a lot. So something we've kind of mentioned is there are things you can do, challenges you can complete with each car. And every challenge you complete will unlock stuff for that car. There's the ejector seats. There's a tether option, which is where you can hook something up to the back of your car and drive around with it, and that can be really, really fun too. There's also the ball and chain version of that, where it's just a giant destruction ball that can hang out behind you. There's nitrous, obviously. What kind of driving game wouldn't have nitrous? Eventually you can unlock so you can have unlimited nitrous. there's a whole bunch of ways you can customize your cars and things you can add to your cars to make them really, really great for combat or just exploring the world generally, or getting around the world generally. Kneecappers are back. That was the thing that we had in previous Saints Row games as well. I think I've covered all of them at this point, but I'm not sure.
Wow.
Yeah, there's plenty.
And are we able to unlock those early in game, or will we have to wait until the end of the game to unlock them all?
Those are gated by challenges. So there's challenges for vehicles. There's challenges for weapons. Perform X headshots with this weapon. Drift for however long with this vehicles. And so you can unlock these special abilities by completing challenges. So you can do that whenever you want. If you want to just say, I want the ejector seat and I want it now, and spend however much time it takes you to complete the challenge. I don't know offhand exactly what challenges they are, but if you want to spend your time focused on that in the open world instead of pursuing crit path, go for it.
Yeah,
That's great. So those will
the nice
unlock
thing
whenever
is,
you unlock them.
Yeah, the nice thing is that the story for those kinds of things does not. You don't have to wait till the very last minute to suddenly have your ejector seats. It can be as soon as you want it to be, or when you're having some downtime, if you want to wait between one crit path mission and another kind of thing. So it's really whenever the player wants to.
Okay, so well, we can actually just play it the way we like to play it, in terms of what we are going to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you want to focus on the open world and ignore the crit path, you can do that. If you want to plow through the crit path and then turn to the open world activities, you can do that too. It's really designed to let you play how you want to play.
Sounds good.
The writing team did a great job of making sure that everything, can exist anywhere whenever the player wants it, so that you're not really stuck on rails. It really is a sandbox in terms of the progression that the player wants to go through.
Okay, and well, in terms of missions, for example, I can remember in Saints Row 3 we actually had missions which impacted the story and would result in different missions depending on your choice. Are we going to see that again in the reboot?
We do not have branching narrative in this version. There's we do not have branching narrative in this in this version.
We don't want to speak too much on the story because obviously we don't want to tread into spoiler territory. We want to make sure that everyone playing
I can understand that.
Pleasantly surprised with everything.
There's non-linearity. There are side missions that open up based on various activities or how far you complete or progress. So it's not just one straight railroad through. You can play things in any order. You can't play things in any order, but there are parts of the crit path that just open it up. Here's a bunch of new missions. Go do what you want to do, and we'll be here when you come back. But yeah, it's not a branching story.
Okay. And well, we said that the crew will actually still play a role in the new Saints Row game. What about the homie system? Will that still be available?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. You can call your friends whenever you want some backup, and also as you progress and you level up your empire, you'll get some purple shirts. You can always have some nameless lackeys following along too to help back you up in combat. But yeah, it's very much similar to 3 in the way that you can call your friends and they can hang out with you for a while and do some missions with you and stuff.
Okay. And well, seeing that this is a reboot and you've already said there are loads of new characters, will we still encounter reference to, for example, Johnny Gat, Shaundy, or any of the characters from the previous games?
We can't speak to that. I don't.
Yeah, we can. We can.
We can. Okay.
Yeah, we can say that those characters do not appear in this game. There are a couple of Easter eggs out there for sharp-eyed viewers, but you will not see those characters in that game. We can say that straight up.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, so well, about the new characters, who would be your favorite character?
God.
Oh, that's like picking a favorite child.
Yeah.
For all of them for different reasons. I mean, I love Nina. I think she's so cool. She's the brains. She's very smart. Not the brains like Eli is, and Eli is he's just so lovable, like in a way that I don't know. I feel like people, as you get to know him some more, it's going to become, a surprising favorite amongst a lot of people. But I mean, Kevin is Kevin's great. He's so fun.
I mean, yeah, they're all. God, I don't. I refuse to answer that question. I won't pick. I'm sorry.
I just said all of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I'm even trying to think like, well, who's the most fun to write? And it's like they're all fun to write in their all ways, in their own ways. We have 4 characters, frankly, including the boss, each of whom has a very strong point of view and a very strong, life experience and very strong angles that they come at anything from. And the interplay of those angles is really, that's what I love to write, right? Is how does Kevin interact with the boss? How does Kevin interact with Eli? How does Eli interact with the boss? Those relationships between them, there's not a one of those relationships that isn't really just fun.
They're also real.
In some ways. Yeah. It's very much a gang of friends that you hang out with. And I just can't answer it. It's
Very well, I can understand that.
yeah.
So, we've seen co-op as well.
Everybody's frozen up on me. Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay, you're good?
Nope, we're back. We're good.
All right. So, we've seen co-op as well in the game. Will it feature a couch co-op mode as well? Or is it mainly online co-op?
We can't say too much about co-op right now. We can say that there's 2-player co-op. We'll have a pranking element to co-op, but that's about as much as we can say.
I think we can say there's no couch co-op. It's online only.
I think that's understandable, seeing that you have got untethered co-op, so you can just be anywhere in the map. And I think it will be difficult for a console or a PC to actually provide that space for 2 players.
Yes, yeah, it is completely untethered co-op throughout the game. So that's one of the reasons that it's not going to work on a couch very well.
Screen in half kind of thing.
Yeah,
no.
And don't know if it's too technical for this at this point, but what will the differences be between the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series X, for example, in terms of performance and quality?
I believe closer to launch we'll be kind of delving more in depth regarding the 9th generation of consoles and things like that. At this time, we can't speak too much to the 9th gen that's coming out. We are releasing on them, but specs have to wait.
Okay. I saw that the headquarters were customizable. Well, in the last Saints Row games, you actually also had cribs you could unlock. Will those be there again, and will they be customizable?
The HQ, I believe, is the only crib that you have in this one, but it is the hub of everything. Cribs sort of have made way for the enterprises that the player can create and build across the entire map. So it's been a trade-off between the two, but yeah.
There will be fast travel back to the HQ as well, so
yes,
you will never be too far from your HQ.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that were most of my questions now.
Okay.
Perfect.
Great.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your time.
And thank you.
And
yeah.
I really enjoyed looking at the game, actually doing this interview.
Wonderful. It was really fun answering your questions, and thank you for being a part of today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very punctual. Didn't even have to say anything. That was nice.
Posh have it.
All right.
Well, thanks, guys, for having our interviews, and good luck on the game.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great evening.